Truth, lies, shenanigans.
RB, are we talking truth, lie, or shenanigans?
We're talking a very sobering truth, and it's been alluded to a couple of times throughout the discussion this afternoon. Um, so, just to share some numbers real quick, there were just over 2,400 Americans who died in the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, and there were 2,977 killed in New York, New York City, Washington, outside Shank, and on September 11th. And this past Wednesday, 3,124 Americans died of COVID-19 in the US. On
It should have been
Thursday, we saw,
3,123,
right?
to be honest.
So it's just mind blowing at this point that the daily death toll is now greater than the death toll during 9/11.
It's like
That is
9/11 every
sobering.
day.
Exactly. But this has been caused domestically by botched policy and by refusing to buy into science and listening to the moneymakers. So at this point, I mean, how much more do the anti-maskers need in order to flip the narrative to make them COVID believers? And there was so much outrage and dismay when 9/11 took place by every patriot in America, and the outrage was worldwide. So where's the ultra-right's outrage at the presidency for completely fumbling this and killing 3,000 Americans a day?
Oh, come
Oh
on,
wait, so
Rob.
you're
You
looking
know,
for the Proud Boys to stand up and would stand
okay,
up and
there's
stand
no
back?
outrage. For 9/11, the perpetrators, the terrorists, if you will, they were not Americans. They were Muslims. They were Saudi Arabians. They had brown skin. They didn't look like the Proud Boys. Now, the Proud Boys and people of that ilk, Trump's followers, they do not want to acknowledge that they've been duped by their massa. They've been duped by their king
They've been duped.
that looked exactly like them and who for 4 years had tried to persuade them that the enemy were minorities, were people, they people who were not born in the United States, people who were from foreign countries, people who spoke 2 or 3 languages. Now they are faced with the task of no, no, no. It's been the big white man in power who's been the cancer to this country over the past 4 years. And they don't want to acknowledge that. Your wife, Jose, and I got into it with someone, this Yahoo, on our website earlier this week because she made the comment about thousands of people dying a day. And this guy was like, dude, thousands of people, please. And so it's like, well, what numbers are you looking at? Is thousands not one, two, three? Is that not multiple thousands of people per day? We have had since March 300,000 people plus die in this country. That averages to over 1,000 people per day if you do the math. Yahoo. So it's a lot of non-believers because they don't want to accept that they have been duped.
Yep.
They have been failed. Everything that they were led to believe about MAGA and this presidency has been a false narrative. And so I think what's going to happen is we're going to need more people in his camp, unfortunately, to pass away, to succumb to COVID, like maybe Don Jr., maybe Ivanka, if you will. A celebrity, a big time celebrity, because a lot of the celebrities have been kind of up until this point, B list, C list, if you
The
will.
tiny lister doesn't count.
No, to the Trump base, you think they watch Friday? Come on now. You think they know Debo? No,
Debo.
they don't
Rest in peace,
know.
Debo. Rest in peace.
No, I think it's going to need to be somebody that hits the hearts of everyone, where they may start to, or even their mama. Maybe if their mama died of COVID, they might get a clue. Maybe.
I just want to say, Angel at Angel X 5209 on TikTok asked the question, where you guys get all your research?
Where do you get all your research?
Source. You.
All right, Gianni, your thoughts.
Don't get me.
I feel like
I got time today. I got time today. Where do you get your research? I'm curious.
I mean, I would get my research. I honestly
No,
don't
not that
trust
question.
the internet.
The topic. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Don't worry about
okay,
her question.
okay.
I was just, I just threw that out there.
Um, I was gonna say, piggybacking off of you, Liz, what you said about how they're non-believers, like the Trump supporters. There's that, and then there's also like I would say millennial and kind of like conspiracy people that think like um the government's after me, which partly there can be some truth that can be extracted out of that. But I just feel like for the most part, there's like huge conspiracy young people that don't want to take the vaccine and don't believe in COVID and the practices and stuff like that. So that's why the spike, hence the spike. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Just shedding light on the different type of people that feel different ways.
Yeah, I mean,
And
this.
there are a lot of Black people who still don't believe that this is real either. Like I've been fussing them down all week as well.
There's a
So
bunch. It's true.
it runs the gamut. It runs
It
the
is
gamut.
frustrating. I mean, I get a lot of the Black people's concerns, given the history of America and experimentation on people of color.
Mhm.
But with that being said, we are in a different century, um, so we're more informed, so we can make better informed decisions than back in the 50s and 60s. So, um, with that being said, I this all whittles down from the top. This is all the administration. We're looking at there were calls that 9/11, since you brought up 9/11, that Bush's failures to keep up with intelligence during 9/11 was the reason that 9/11 occurred, because his administration wasn't actively investigating intelligence reports and things like that. So technically 9/11 in many people's eyes was George Bush's fault. But this is a totally different thing, because we can literally point to how this is Donald Trump's fault. These crazy numbers that we're seeing, you know, we're almost a year. We're over a year now since COVID was first came on scene. So at some point, this should have been better controlled. There are other countries, yes, that have surges, but they still don't have the surges that the U.S. has had. So where does that come from? Where is that coming from? That is coming from the poor administration work that Trump did. I mean, they just did not manage this pandemic. So whose fault is it? I'm going straight to the top, and he needs to take
Mhm.
responsibility. If he doesn't, I'm just giving it to him.
Also, 9/11. Again, I was in New York City. I lived in New York for 9/11, and it's a topic that is very sensitive to me. And so, anytime I come into contact with someone who is talking conspiracy theories, or it was an inside job, or it really didn't happen, I am ready to fight. Again, firing squad for you. That is disrespectful to the 3,000 plus people who died. That is disrespectful for all of the people who lived there and went through it, including myself. And now, as Rob brought up, we are dealing with this number of deaths on a daily
Daily.
basis now. A daily basis now.
Yep.
Like it's insane. It's
Absolutely.
insane. It's insane.
Absolutely. Let's quickly get to a couple of comments online. We're not going to be able to go through too many of them. Let's see. Mike Wolf says Charlie Pride would like a word with you about his level of celebrity. Kevin Dashon says not Eric Trump. Nobody cares about Eric.
I guarantee you to ask American, the average millennial, the average Trump supporter, who Charlie Pride is. I'm talking about like people where you throw the name out there, like Madonna. If Madonna died of COVID tomorrow, everyone in America would know who that is. Everyone internationally would know who that is. And that's no disrespect to Charlie Pride.
Mike Winter
But
says cognitive dissonance is strong.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, he said Proud Boys were at the White House catching and spreading COVID. That's a good point. You know,
They were at the White House lying about how they got to the White House first and foremost.
mm-hmm.
They were on their VIP tour. It's
Secret
available
meeting in
to
the White
all
House.
the public.
Last minute invitations. Last minute
I
invitation
know.
The Proud Boys get a secret invitation to the White House. Mm-hmm.
during a pandemic. During a pandemic.
Tom Perry points out it's 21,000 deaths in 1 week.
That's
Oh
insane.
my God.
That's
That's almost
insane.
unbelievable.
And we're not
Like, if I
talking
didn't-
cases. I don't know if you remember a few months ago when he kept saying, you know, all we're talking about is cases. We're just talking about cases. You know, when Trump was on the news talking about it, we're not talking cases anymore. These are deaths.
Yeah.
People literally dying. All right. That's it for our hot topics, guys. Great job on hot
Great
topics
topics,
today.
guys.
Lies,
Great topics,
shenanigans.
guys.
Yeah, we ran over in time. These topics were too great not to run over a little bit. So let's get to our game show.